I'm a great believer that nobody succeeds unless they really want to buy the ticket. I mean, in the book I tell a story about the Jewish man who was in the white goods business and everything was fine. He was very religious and he went to synagogue every Saturday. And then one day he went to the synagogue and after prayers he got down on one knee and said, God, business is not as good as it used to be. I'm really in trouble and I need to win the lottery. And the next morning he woke up and opened up the paper and he didn't win. And so the following Saturday he went back to the synagogue and meanwhile business had gotten significantly worse. And so he finished his prayers and then he got down on one knee and he said, God, things have really gotten much worse and I'm really in trouble and I need to win the lottery. And the next morning he opened up the newspaper and he didn't win. So on the following Saturday, he's literally spent Friday preparing his Chapter 11 papers and he tells God of this and he says, God, I need to win the lottery. And from up on high came a voice and the voice said, Moshe, you gotta buy a ticket. So, more than anything else, if I were asked to give you all advice, my advice would be buy a ticket. Nobody wins if they don't play. And so you've got to buy a ticket. You've got to be committed, whatever that commitment may represent. I don't have any preferences one way or the other than I've made the fortune that I've made and built the empire that I've made because I've been a professional opportunist. And my advice to everybody is become a professional opportunist. Recognize what the opportunities are and how they may be solved. Recognize the fact that you're not always right. As a matter of fact, you can't succeed unless you understand rejection. So understand it, take your risk, and make it happen. And buy a ticket. Thank you.
Hey everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and Sam Zell tells us a little story that I think is quite poignant. If you're watching this video, I think you have your ticket. You are playing inside the crypto market. We're not out of the woods yet. You can see that it still is having a downward trend. There's a lot of selling pressure. We're off 4.2% in the last 24 hours. The total global market size is down to 1.25 trillion. And in this volatility, there is some surprises. I mean, I just can't quite believe it. It's Terra Luna, the coin that just totally crashed in a death spiral, is up today over 1,300%. And even the stablecoin UST is up 26%, and no, it's not even close to being pegged to the dollar. And it doesn't have anything to do with that rumor that was floating around yesterday about a white knight. There was a little false hope yesterday with a story that circulated that GAM was going to be in negotiations with Terraform Labs to support the Luna stablecoin. That turned out to be totally false. They are not in negotiations. But what is happening is interesting. On the Terra Research Forum, you can see that Do Kwon is there with lots of people talking about how to create a revival plan. It's really a long shot. I mean, they've got so much going for them in terms of community, but so much going against them in terms of reputation. So, this is, I'm sure, very interesting for everybody to watch because it does affect the whole entire ecosystem. And if you are interested, you can find this revival plan discussion happening through a link from Do Kwon's Twitter feed. Celsius was acutely aware of the risk, and they pulled out $500 million out of the Anchor protocol amid the whole chaos. I can imagine that for Celsius. That was a very scary moment. Well, I always say this isn't the Wild West, that we are regulated, but there are some things that come across my Twitter feed where I think, maybe we are in the Wild West. This is BitTrue promoting the reduced trading fees with the Luna USDT pair. Wow, I don't know what to say here except that it is really a Wild West kind of move. This short 1 minute, 34-second clip is something that I found from a blockchain association, the government blockchain association. It was uploaded on May 5th, but I actually think it took place earlier in the year. It is a portion where former U.S. Representative Jim Moran, he had that position in Congress for 23 years. He's now a senior policy advisor in D.C. He gives his thoughts on Gensler. He also gives some thoughts on volatility. And the last statement is a bit chilling. Have a listen.
In terms of the SEC, Gary Gensler says, I've got enough legislation and regulatory authority to regulate this. He's taken about 100 actions already against crypto traders, 97 or something that comes to as of today. I suspect he's going to get more aggressive. Volatility in crypto markets is not healthy from a political standpoint. It's not healthy if you're holding a whole lot of it either. But most of the people that are holding cryptocurrency are sticking with it. They believe in it. I mean, that's fine. That adds stability to the market. When the market drops as fast as it did, invariably that draws people into a regulatory mode because people complain. Encountered some people who really think that new legislation is almost going to expunge the record for people who haven't been complying with the laws such as they are. That's not going to happen. I think there's going to be a look back. I think that people are going to be held accountable. And I think some people are going to be made an example. I don't want it to be anybody in this room.
It sounded like to me he knows something. He knows that there is going to be some enforcement actions taken against people who are currently moving in this space. But even after the regulation is clear, that enforcement action is going to come back on them. So if you've decided to take a leap into this space, you want to know one thing, because it's very important to watch traditional markets. The crypto market is becoming tighter and tighter in its correlation with the traditional markets. Have a listen.
To the whole argument that, I mean, in past market meltdowns, they were sort of immune, right? Great store of value. Not this time around, though. Why not? And what's going on?
So what I think is going on is that we see that the two financial systems, the crypto system and the established financial system, they're basically merging now. They're becoming one system. You could argue that this is a sign that crypto is maturing and becoming a normal, behaving like anything else. I think you will see that long term.
As you fight, endure, and survive this space, you need to know that not all of the projects are going to be so lucky. Please take this next clip to heart.
Will all the coins survive?
No, 99% of the coins will probably be worthless, right? So there are very few coins that are actually building real assets and real value and actual product market fit. But all the other coins are just cash grabs, right? They're just copies and clones of each other. So it's very important to know which coins are the real life, like trying to do something for the world coins, and what are the projects that are just there just to make money.
As I do my best to pay attention to this very noisy space and try to maneuver in a very complicated and fast-moving environment, I keep going back to Ripple, where they are using the digital asset XRP in their on-demand liquidity solution. Here is James Wallace talking on a panel.
But the sort of traditional model of, pre-funding accounts, for liquidity purposes, nostro vostro accounts. I mean, it's proven that that part of the correspondent banking model is not needed. Just to give you an example, within our RippleNet offering, we have sort of two options. One is fiat money, which is being used through the whole system, and that still does require some pre-funding. And then we have something called on-demand liquidity, which negates the need for pre-funding. That uses crypto asset as a bridge mechanism between one currency and another. The run rate on that is we're definitely not at the trillions of dollars at this stage, but the run rate is over $1 billion per month with that particular offering. But the other point I would make is when we look at cross-border payments, which is really how Ripple started, we had a big focus initially on remittances and looking at providing low-cost remittances. Mostly, the traction we got was with non-banks, so other financial institutions, so payment providers, PSPs, money service companies, whatever label you want to put on them. But we have seen increasingly through this on-demand liquidity capability, we've seen an increase in treasury use cases as well. So companies wanting to move money around different countries, through their banks or directly through a payment provider. So the use cases, to Chad's point, I mean, I think they can all be addressed by modernizing the infrastructure. And I do think that as CBDCs come on stream a bit more, and we'll talk about that more later, I hope, that the role of the public sector, I think, on the design and implementation is probably going to grow.
So in sticking to digital assets that are going to survive, you want to pay attention to those who have a use case. And I don't want you to miss Liquid Marketplace. They are solving a problem when it comes to liquidity within the tokenization of real-world assets. Look at what is coming this week. That is one of the very collectible, very popular mutant apes. And here I am on the liquidmarketplace.io. This is my collectible collection. I have some tokenized ownership in the 1998 Pokemon Pikachu Illustrator card, this CryptoPunk number 6837. And my most recent purchase was a Lewis Hamilton card, which sold out in seconds, but I was able to get a piece of it now on the secondary market. So this is really fun for me because I think this is one more way to diversify my portfolio. All right, everybody, we're jumping to the fluff. And as you probably know, the natural flooring that's called tatami is very popular in Japan. It is a woven natural rush fiber that feels so great. It smells so great. It's just something you just want to get down and lay on because it is so inviting. Well, there's a company that is making a TTM-V20, and they have the rush matting with built-in bass vibration speakers, 6 of them per unit. And it is in a lower limit human audible range, like 20 hertz, and the vibrations, which are linked to your health, it's believed it's beneficial for all 5 senses, is being marketed in Japan. And I think it's a great thing because the use of tatami has really declined, and the people who are in the manufacturing business of growing that grass are seeing that they need to reinvent themselves. You can see the demonstration where they use a bottle of water and the vibration is moving the water. It's made by a company in Kumamoto. This is the Kumamoto Bear, which is the character that represents that city. They are trying to revitalize the growers of the rush mat because over the years, tatami mats have declined in their use. So I think this is going to attract a whole new audience. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.